G'day, my name's Darryl Webb, and today in this video we're going to have a look at the Infiray Gemini GEH50R multi-spectral thermal imaging binoculars. These guys. We're going to go over some of its specs. While we're filming this and talking about different things, we'll run a whole heap of footage over the top, so you can see how it's used out in the field and what it actually, the quality of the image looks like in thermal, night vision and day vision. And we'll go through just some out using it in the field, some little tests showing you the rangefinder and whatnot, and then we'll go on some pros and cons and a bit of a conclusion for who this one is actually for, and what scenarios it suits and what scenarios it doesn't suit. So there are some pros and cons, and we'll go through them towards the end of the video. Anyway, let's have a look at that. We'll come in close and see what you actually get when you get it in the box. This is a demo model, so I don't think everything you actually normally get is in there, but we'll get the general gist. So, this is a nice little box for you. Appreciate your choice. Leader in infrared thermal imaging. Alright, we'll turn this box sideways so we can actually sort of see it a bit better. When you get this, the device is actually inside this packet, inside this pouch. So it comes with a nice little, just a sort of standard, what I call heavy duty binocular pouch with a little area on front for some extra goodies. Build quality is nice on it, and it's nicely padded and should protect your expensive little investment. I said I don't think I got everything in here, but some of the other things that in here is there's a little wall adapter for USB-C to plug into the charge some batteries. There is a IR illuminator. I'm going to guess that's a 940. Under that, there's something in there, and there is a night call battery charger. Let's keep on going sort of through that. On this side, there's a little tripod adapter. There was some batteries in there which are now in the unit. And there is a little ring to go around the actual one of the binocular lenses, so you can mount that infrared illuminator. We'll put all that back in there. So that's pretty much it for what comes in the box. I did note there was no manual in this one. There should be a neck strap too, from what I gathered, because I didn't get one in the box, but I've seen all the other pictures and things like that, it's meant to come with a neck strap. Alright, so now we're looking at the actual device. So you pretty much got the 6 buttons on top. It's got these nice little rubber removable caps. One of these is your IR, night vision and daytime vision lens. One is your thermal vision lens. There's your 1200 meter rangefinder. There is eyepiece separate focus for each eye. You can also slide these in and out to get it just the perfect fit for you. And then there's 2 focus wheels. This one is for your night vision or your day vision, and this one, IR, is for your thermal image, your infrared, when you're actually using the thermal. On the bottom there's a USB-C port for communicating with a PC to get your footage off. There is a tripod adapter there, and on the side here is where your batteries go. You click that up, it comes off, and in there it holds 2 18650 batteries. So batteries are nice and easy to get your hands on because they're standard non-proprietary 18650s. Alright, we'll go over the basic menus when you're using it. So you've got an up and down button, you've got a menu button, power button, range finding button, and a camera button / video button. So basic features is you hold that on, just turn the unit on. If you want to turn the rangefinder on, you press that once, and you press it again and it turns off. You can have 2 different modes for the rangefinder. You can have it continuous mode, or you can have it just a single hit mode. The camera button back there does long press it starts video, short press it takes a photo. On here you got your up and down buttons and your menu button. So for instance, you can long press it and you'll get the full menu, and short press it you get a quick menu. When you're actually using the device, say for instance you're using thermal, you can long press this up or down arrow, whatever it is, I'll call it down arrow, and it will go through the different color palettes. So you've got your traditional ones like white hot, black hot, rainbow, all the things that you would find in any other infrared device. You can also hold that button in and it will switch it between like daytime vision or nighttime vision to thermal vision and to a fusion, which the fusion is a mixture of daytime vision or night vision, depending on what mode you got set on, and the thermal together, and it gives you some highlights. So there's actually lots of different modes in it. It's very in-depth. I probably won't be able to cover it all in this video because otherwise it'll be about a 3-hour long video, but we will glance over some of those features when we do the test. But that's it for the basic controls and what you sort of need to know about using it. This is where I always test out all my thermals. I'll do it in the daylight so we can look through the daytime optics, and we'll come back again when it's dark and we'll test it then. At the moment there's no kangaroos. There's normally always kangaroos here, but there's not at the moment, so we'll just do some daytime image, some thermal and some of the fusion in daylight. It's about 35 or 36 degrees, so it's terrible thermal conditions, but this is the real world. Let's see what it looks like. So at the moment I'm in thermal mode, as you can see, and I believe I'm in white hot. We'll just check this rangefinder. So what am I at the moment? 512 metres to that house. So that is a white hot. There's a fusion overlay. And I'll go through the thing again, and that is the daytime / night vision. If I hit the menu and the down button together, it'll put it into IR mode for the night. So that's, you would run that, it's black and white, you'd run that when you run that at night time. It's not night time now, so I'll go back to daytime mode. That's back to white hot again. So what I'll do is now I'll just hold it, and that will give me black hot. Hold it again, gives me the red highlight. Gives me rainbow, and I'm back to white hot. Let's just go really quick through to fusion again. So at the moment, when you're in the fusion mode, I know you guys can't see this for the menu, but you can also change the color palettes in fusion, as you can see there. At the moment I can see the two images are slightly off from each other, ever so slightly. That can be adjusted, you can align them better, but it's done for different distances. So anyway, that's fusion. And that's back to white hot and fusion. What we'll do is we'll go just to just the daylight mode there, and we'll just do, let's move that a tiny bit, and I'll have a little play with the focus to make sure I'm bang on. Oh, of course I touched the wrong one. Oh, that's probably about right there. Let's go in for a bit of zoom. So that's 2 times zoom. That's 3 times zoom. I'll just check that focus again. And we'll go up to 4 times zoom. And back to 1 times zoom. And that house, as I said, is at 519 metres. That gives you an idea what the daytime mode looks like. Okay, so we're looking out at our house at 550 metres. This is with the night vision. There's kangaroos at 137 metres. And that over there is a fox. Seeing here, you can tell it's a fox. This is 370, so you can see here. You can see foxes pretty easy. I'll just go through. I said there's that house that we always look at 550 metres. We'll go through some of the different pellets. So there's black hot. Again, fox stands out very easy. Here's your like fire red on the hottest part. That's your rainbow, and back to white hot. Obviously, what I said is right. We'll see if we can actually see them with just the night vision. Actually, well, there's fusion. You can see them with fusion, alright. So that's thermal in black hot, and the night vision is. And there's just the night vision, it's out of focus. But yeah, you can clearly see them at that distance. I wonder if I can pick up the fox. Probably not. He's out there somewhere still. I guess we'll check. Yeah, he's still out there. You can see him with fusion quite easy. I do like the fusion because you get the way the target's popped. The way the targets really show up with the thermal, but you also get more detail in them, like when you're looking at like those kangaroos. Just a jump back through them again. That's just the roos by themselves, and that's just hit with thermal. And that's hit with fusion. So a quick run through of the specs are, so it's the GEH50R, the thermal imaging side, it's 645 512 sensor, sub 25 millikelvin. Objective lens is 50mm, field of view of 8.8 degrees by 6.6. The magnification, the base mag is 4.1, and you can digital zoom it all up to 16.4. The detection range for human sized target is 2,600 metres. Let's go on to the digital night vision imaging. So this is your night and daytime. The resolution is a 1920 by 1080, so it's full HD. So it's got a 35mm objective lens. The field of view is 9.4 by 7. That's degrees. Magnification, base mag is 3.8, and it goes up to 15.2 times zoom. The laser rangefinder, its max distance is 1200 metres. The eyepieces for the AMOLED screens, the resolution is 1024 by 768, and the battery type is two 18650 lithium batteries, and the weight of the unit is 960 grams. Pros and cons. We'll start off with some pros. I use thermal all the time for scanning paddocks, and quite often when I'm out on a job, I will, sometimes I can't identify. It might be, for instance, I had a job recently where I had to shoot crows, and it was very specifically certain crows that were in certain trees at night. And when I put my thermal on my rifle and looked up in the trees, I could see birds, but there's quite a few birds that are roughly the same size as crows. And it made it quite hard to pick, so I found myself actually using my night vision to confirm it. If I had a device like this, you could definitely do that with just this one device. So you got night vision and thermal all in one. So I've seen straight away a great advantage to that. The fact that you can have a fusion between the two, so for instance you can have the high detail of the day vision optic and you can see into the shadows a bit more. For instance, there was a larger animal laying down in there having a sleep, maybe like a pig under a tree, and even on the early evenings, when there's enough light that these cameras will still work really good in colour mode, you can also have that and then actually pick up animals in the shadows that maybe normally you wouldn't be able to see with just your eyes or a traditional set of binoculars. So there's some big pros for it. The menu and layout system, now without going into the super advanced side of it, just to actually use it, I found myself on my first night, after knowing very little about the device, I was switching through the colour palettes, using the rangefinder, turning things on and off, and I had no drama. So even though it's got 6 buttons on there, and you know, focus knobs here and focus knobs here and slide, it was very simple to use. The UI on the devices is very well laid out and very simple to follow. If you've used other thermal devices before, I said, even though this thing does so much more than your average thermal device, it wasn't hard to sort of find your way around to do the normal things like using your rangefinder and going through different colour palettes and zoom and starting, stopping, recording. That was all very laid out. Another pro that I like is 18650 batteries, so you can pretty much jump online and buy 2 or 3 sets of them, and you've got heaps there. You can go away for probably 3 or 4 days and not have to worry about charging the device or charging things. You can just take the batteries with you because 18650s are quite affordable, and you can get them just about anywhere. While we're on those batteries, battery life was great. The first night I used them, I charged it all the way up, and I think I was on them for about 10 hours, and they still actually had a fair bit of battery left. I was still probably a quarter battery left, so I have never actually flattened them right out, so that's a pretty good sign, because I quite often flatten out 2 batteries on my FH35R by the end of the night. So pros wise, that's probably just about all it is for it, as in the build quality and construction and layout. Obviously some of its features are nice, as I said, the fact that it's got daytime vision, nighttime vision, thermal vision, and a laser rangefinder. How did I find the laser rangefinder? Well, it worked good. Using it at night, I had no troubles pinging off things out several hundred meters. I haven't tested it in a super open area to see how far it actually goes, but just from using it, it's a very powerful, very, very quick to respond laser rangefinder. So to me, if you're using thermal, you really need to have a laser rangefinder, because it makes the judging distances so hard. Just like using a pair of binoculars, it just makes everything, it's hard to tell the distance. So rangefinder is important. I did see that it came with a nice comfy neck strap. I never got that. I was using it on, I just put my FH35R lanyard and just sort of hung it off my neck like that, which did work, but the proper neck strap would be nice. And that's probably about it for the pros. That's a lot there, isn't it? Yeah, I guess that means I like the device, which I do. Cons. You know what? The cons part of it, this is probably more suggestions for Infiray if they, bring out a Mark II of these. Maybe some things I'd like to see that I just found were not terrible, but just little things that bugged me a little tiny bit. There's really only a couple of things on it, but I'll go through them. It's actually got to do with these focusing, and in particular these small light ones. These ones have got a bit of stiffness to them. Every now and then I would bump them in use, and I'd pick it up and I'm like, oh, one eye's out of focus. So I'd quickly adjust it. You could tell which one it was, because you just shut your left and right eye and you work out which one's out of focus, and you would adjust that. If they were a tiny bit stiffer, that would fix it. But if you didn't change this, it's not a deal breaker. The ones I had the main problem is these guys. You actually only got to touch them very, very lightly and they move. And because it's got I'm going to guess a small f-stop number, it's a very shallow depth of field, you find yourself having to focus quite a lot. If you're looking at something that's, say, 50 metres away and then looking at something that's like 200 metres away, there's a big difference in focus. So you're quite often using these. But I did find sometimes I'm just looking in an open area and using it more as a scanner, and I pretty much set it out for almost like infinity focus. Everything out sort of from between 100 metres out to like 400, 500 metres is in focus. I kept on bumping it, and just the act of letting it hang down by my neck, it would actually turn these. So if they could just stiffen these up a bit, it would make it so much better. Well, that said, it's not a deal breaker, because you are using them a lot, and for some people maybe it would be fine like that, because pretty much every time you pick it up, if you're going from close to far distances, you are adjusting anyway. But I found when you want to use it just as a scanner, just for open areas and paddocks, they were a bit light on, and I did adjust, and I did bump them, and I find myself constantly changing them when I hadn't really changed what distance I was looking at. And that was pretty much it for cons. Alright, let's do a conclusion. Who do I think this is for? Well, this one's a bit of a jack of all trades. As I said, the fact that it's got night vision, day vision, and thermal, it pretty much covers all the bases you would do. You could pretty much leave at home your laser rangefinder if you're a deer hunter. You could leave behind your binoculars as a deer hunter. You could also, if you're going to do some night shooting and some predator protection type stuff, you can leave behind your thermal scope and your thermal, it's not your thermal rifle scope, your thermal spotting device, and you could leave behind your laser rangefinder that's with your thermal. This sort of does everything in one package. And I think for someone who does just the type of hunting I do when I'm doing pest control, you might find a little bit lower base mag is more necessary. This one's over 4 times base mag, and I did find when I was using it and finding foxes and things like that out in the paddock, it was great having that base mag, that higher base mag. But I did find when I in longer grass, when I, for instance, I shot some hares and I walked in to try and find them, I actually had a great deal of trouble trying to find them, because it's a little bit too zoomed in. It's like trying to find something for a 4 times scope. If it's super close, you've got to actually look around a bit, and in the dark it seemed a little bit trouble compared to using like my 2 times base mag FH35R. So that's not really a con, it's a difference. I prefer a wide angle, but I know a lot of people prefer a more tied in one. So that's for you to think about what type of use suits you. But I did find it was a little bit more zoomed in than I'm used to, and it would take me, I'd probably get used to it, but it just, yeah, there was some pros and cons to that, as in, I said, unable to find things up really close very fast. It took me a long time to find them compared to normal when I had a much wider field of view. I think I do every now and then, as for fun, I go and do some deer hunting. And when I go do that, I have a laser rangefinder and I have a set of binoculars. And these days, because I own one, I've got a small thermal device. I take that with me too. And surprisingly, at distance, sometimes you can still pick a sleeping deer in the shade underneath a tree or something like that. This is all in one. If I was doing more of that type of hunting, I wouldn't hesitate and I'd have this. I wouldn't have my FH35R, I'd have this guy. So it's definitely for different people for different uses, and you really have to think about what type of hunting you do for what type of hunting this actually suits. I said I find it more as a general purpose all-round hunter, someone who's hunting pigs, deer, and things like that, and isn't just doing pest control stuff. So someone who's really hunting and does a bit of pest control type work at night. This one is probably like the best choice for that, and I have thoroughly enjoyed using it. What else can I say as a conclusion? Well, I said it in the pros and cons. The menus and everything, it's really, really easy device to use, and it's very, very adaptable. As you would have seen in the test, with the Fusion device, you can really start to play around with how the features work in it for you and what you individually like. You know, some people like black hot and some people like white hot. When all of a sudden you mix in this Fusion idea, and all of a sudden you've got like when you go right through the menus, you can pretty much have it like daytime mode, and then you can have the hot parts are highlighted, you know, with thermal overlay on it. Or you can make it so the hot items are like a thermal glow around them. There's all different ways of using it. There's so much in the menus, way more than what I can cover in this review. As I said, the review would be 3 hours long, otherwise maybe more. So that's something I'd highly recommend downloading the book to actually have a look through. I'll put a link in the description to the download to the user manual for this, and actually so you can go through and see what types of stuff it can do, because it's a bit of a mind twist. You're like, wow, it does so much, way more than I can cover in this. But I found just general with the Fusion, certain scenarios, I was able to put in just the overlay Fusion, so you sort of got a bit of both. So you got like a bit of a thermal image and some colour, and because it's the normal camera in the daylight or low light, you've got a lot more detail in the image. So yeah, it's a very, very impressive piece of kit, and the technology is just about over top of my head for how much advantage I can get out of it to explain it to you, because there's so many different ways of using it, and everyone who uses this, I think it's like setting up a laptop. When you use your laptop, everyone gets through and navigates different ways. This device can do so much of that. You can set it up exactly how you like it, and I think it will be like that. Everyone will use it a little bit differently. So that's my conclusion. So I've had this for a few weeks and I've thoroughly enjoyed using it. I've used it a lot. I've really got some time to try and learn it. I had to spend a bit of time with this because I said there's so much going on that you can do with it. For general use, you can get through it real quick in one night. You got it all worked out. But all the extra features you can do, it takes a bit of time. And so on that note, I'd like to thank Ground Force International for making this available to me for a few weeks so I could actually get my head around it and actually give you guys a good honest review and what I thought, and showing you some of its features, even if not all the more advanced stuff, because there's so much to look at. I guess I'll leave the video at that. If you like these, check them out. Ground Force International has deals all over the joint. I'll put a link in the description of the Ground Force so you can sort of see where the distributors are if that's what you're looking for. And I'd highly recommend, if you're a traditional hunter that wants to play in the thermal world and binoculars and everything, this one's a good way of doing it, because as you know, good binoculars are expensive, good range finders are expensive, and good thermals are expensive. Add them all into one, you know, and night vision as well, then you got yourself a fair bit of kit in this one device. That's similarly priced to just a high-end thermal. Anyway, on that note, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like more stuff like this, some hunting and sometimes some fishing and camping again, then hit the subscribe button as well. Bye for now.